Hey y'all, thank you for tuning back to our channel. I'm Sarah from Ghost Stories, because everybody has one. And I'm back with the solo story. Stephanie's filming this.
Hey.
Susan is here to my left.
Hello.
We've gotten a lot of inbox stories, and this is one I wanted to share. We definitely desire your stories. If you would send us a email, give us a call, send us a message on Facebook. We're loving the stories you guys are sending in, and this is one from one of our fans. Again, just like the previous story that Susan posted, I'm not sure if she wants her identity to be revealed, so I am going to keep her anonymous. The story reads, "Hi ladies, I'm loving your stories and thought you might like to hear mine. I have had several unexplained instances over the years, but this one scared me the most. Long story short, in 2009, my husband and I started to look either to buy a house or build a house. We had a 2-year-old, we were expecting again, and currently living in a smaller home. My sister recently bought an old house and had it moved to her property. We were making small talk with the house mover when he told us that another house he had just moved was for sale. The lady that owned that house lived on the river and wanted to build her dream home, so she had her old house moved to her backyard so that she could start on her new construction. We are suckers for a bargain, so we went and looked at the home. It was a big deal, and even the price with moving it was well under our budget. It was also much larger than the small home we were currently living in. We bought the house, and me, being the scaredy cat that I am, I asked the lady, jokingly but also kind of serious, if anyone had ever died in the home. She kind of laughed it off and said no. We had the house moved to our land in Bullitt County. By the time we renovated and moved into it, we then had a 3-year-old and a 5-month-old. It wasn't too long after we moved in when things started happening. I was in the kitchen on one side of the home, and my 3-year-old came running into the kitchen crying hysterically. I bent down, wondering what in the world was wrong with him because he was crying so hard. He then said, "There's a man on fire." That didn't make sense to me. I said, "What? Tell me again why you're crying." He repeated it through his tears. "There's a man on fire." Then it hit me. I must have left the TV on, and he saw something that scared him. So I scooped him up. We walked into the living room, but the TV wasn't on. He was still crying, so I said, "Where did you see this man on fire?" He then, without a single hesitation, pointed to the corner of our living room that was between the couch and the hallway. I said, "Right there," as I pointed to the same spot. He shook his head yes. I obviously didn't see anything, so I told him, "Look, see, there's nothing here," but he was still very upset. For the next few days and even weeks, he wouldn't leave my side. If I was in the kitchen, he was too. Every time he wanted a toy from his room, I would walk with him to get it, and then we'd have to walk back to where we were. Part of me was scared, and the other part of me tried to play it off as normal behavior from a child who was just getting used to this bigger home, new surroundings. This eventually faded out, and we would go play, and things would be normal. About a year later, around the time he started school, I had another baby, and my husband was working swing shifts. Then the nightmares started. Our house was chaos all the time, and I felt like I'd get one child to sleep, and then another would wake up. On one of these nights, I woke to my son crying hysterically again. I ran to his room, and he said, "I see a man." I said, "Who? Who's going to get you?" He said, "Those bad guys." I said, "Buddy, you're having a bad dream, and there are no bad guys in here." He kept insisting, and I said, "Okay, where are these bad guys?" And he said, "Standing right behind you." He had the most terrified look I've ever seen. I, of course, was scared to death, but didn't want to let on, so I immediately began to pray over him. I prayed loudly and fervently. He was instantly calmed. I told my husband about it the next day, and he chalked it up to it just being a really bad dream. And the more I thought about it, the more I convinced myself that that's all it was as well. Over the next few months, he woke up with the same kind of dreams, and several more times I had to come to his room and pray over him. After each prayer, he would calm down. I began to pray over him daily, and I prayed over our home. Finally, the nightmare stopped. Sometimes we'll hear noises. I often hear music playing, and I will hear someone calling me when they really don't. But I praise God for him hearing my prayers and answering them all those years earlier. This is coming from someone who can't even watch Unsolved Mysteries by myself. I love that story. How spooky. But thanks for sending that story in. And if you do want us to tell who that story came from, I'll send it and put it in the description below. Please give us a thumbs up, turn on the notifications so that you'll be notified each time we download a story. And check us out on Facebook. And if you tell us yours, we'll tell you ours.